Okay, everybody, it's 1:30 in the morning and it has been a busy day. Wow. So much information. And good news. I mean, we had so much good news today, didn't we? That I can't even keep up. I hope I can get through this. I think I can. I think I'm full of of energy after today to get me through this early morning podcast. Okay, get this out there. Let's see if everything is working. There we go. Wow. Okay, so we are on 2009 days, I believe, right? Is it? Or 8 days? Oh, I didn't even post it. So way over 2000 days, right? That we've been doing this day in and day out. And we're not just podcasting, right? We are investigating. We absolutely have our team boots on the ground, uh, connections with Mexico, all over, all over. And so more and more information is coming out as um, all this other good news is happening. So let's go through it a little bit. 2008 days since Richard was forcibly removed from his barracks room there on Fort Bliss, and he was taken to the arms room downstairs in the basement. His life was taken. I don't want to sound dismissive. I add this to every podcast that people know that no expense was spared to renovate that crime scene. It was tampered with. They stole our son's body. They had access to mortuary operations. They had access to the Director of Emergency Services, Thomas Kane. They had access to the CID. They had access to the FBI. They had access to DPS. They had access to the funeral homes that are transnational. And this is a Mormon faction, El Paso cartel, that have connections to traffic Richard's remains over to Mexico. We believe that evidence indicates strongly that they took his organs. We also believe that they cashed in on his body because they had access to the Veterans Affairs, Veterans Administrations, um, death benefits, um, administrators, death benefit administrators. They had access to that. And we believe that this is huge fraud. And we're so happy to see what President Trump is doing to address fraud. Um, he has opened a new department right there in the Department of Justice to investigate fraud. We have sad but very profound, and I don't know if it's sad. I think for the victims and their families, it's a very happy day because we had a brutal murderer put to death this week in Texas. I think that is, we're keeping an eye on how many executions, legal executions of very violent criminals, murderers. And this week we had lethal injection. Um, that is very important because Texas doesn't fool around, right? Texas doesn't fool around. And this case has uh, some very violent individuals, very violent, and they absolutely need to face that kind of end. That kind of end. Um, and I know that's hard to talk about, but that's justice. You cannot do these things against children, against U.S. Army soldiers, against men, against women, against humanity, and not be held accountable. Okay, then we're just asking for disaster, for absolutely chaos and no safety at all. So we had good news early in the morning that Don Lemon was arrested. This was very, very good news because what he did, barging into a church, is just really so criminal, so criminal. No respect for God at all. Um, no respect at all for God. It's just so criminal. And he absolutely um, needed to be arrested. And I know that they were protesting and stuff, but no, you just don't go into a church like that during the middle of a service. Sorry, no. Mm-mm. That's really, really very criminal. Uh, so um, President Trump and his sons, his family, are suing the IRS for $10 billion. Ooh, I'm going to yawn through this, y'all. I'm getting tired. It's been one heck of a day. Um, we're very happy that President Trump is suing the IRS for $10 billion for insiders, infiltrators in the IRS that leaked his financial filings. And I don't, I haven't talked to that many people that understand what his tax filings look like. Um, in 2015, uh, Rob and I were just curious people, right? And we look into who we're going to vote for. In 2015, when President Trump decided to run for president, and he came down that escalator and he said that he was going to build a wall and make Mexico pay for it. That statement was not, the R word. It wasn't the R word to us, but it was a dangerous word because we were like, oh my gosh, he's putting himself in danger because he just revealed that we're in deficit with Mexico, that we're in huge deficit with Mexico, that there's a problem there. Um, so anyone that likes economics and everything that heard that statement, that's how it was translated into their ears and to our ears. And so I didn't really know, Rob really didn't know who Trump was. Of course, oh, of course, we knew of him, but we didn't know him, and so we looked up his financials. We looked up his financials. They are so just a bullet list of at that time of his entities was huge, is huge, and I even posted it on Find Richard Halliday to let people know that this is a builder and a business creator, and that tells you his personality, right? That tells you who he is and what he knows. And if you're building all over the world, in Scotland, some of the hardest places in order to buy property and build, Seoul, South Korea, I mean, all over the world. And to make it work and to make it work and to make a profit, the different personalities, the different laws, the different um, uh, assets in the different countries, the different talents with the builders and stuff. I mean, it was just huge. And so, can you imagine what his taxes are like? I mean, they must be as high as I am when you pile the papers up if you printed them up. So to leak that and to comb through it, and just to let you know, they leaked Rob's um, files also. Yeah, they leaked our files also, mine too. I'm sure they knew all of our medical, they knew all everything, military, everything. And praise God that Rob has such a spotless, I mean spotless record, and Richard too, and I too. So because they were combing through, they were trying to, when try to find something on us, and that's what they were doing with President Trump. They were combing through everything, and thank God he has such a spotless record. I mean, they had to fabricate things, right? Um, and if they could have found anything, they would have. They would have driven that into the ground, driven that into the ground. So, yeah, that they cannot, you know, the message is these infiltrators, these mutinous infiltrators in our system, that we pay their wages. Tax money pays their wages, and they have no fidelity uh, to the U.S. Constitution, to the rule of law, to respect, to honor. They have none of that, and they leaked his financials. I just can't even imagine, and his son. So that absolutely needs to be addressed, and we're so glad because he's setting precedents for us, right? He's setting precedents for us. Um, so that was really good. So we have that, and um, we have just looking through the notes. I think I need to go to bed, y'all. I think I do. But I don't want to. I don't want to because I want to fight for my son. I want to fight for my son. I want to fight for justice. I want his remains. And so if I have to stay up until 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock every morning, I will do it. Because I have other good news for you that I have to give you. And I can't miss telling you this. And that is, this pipeline that is Zorro Ranch. Zorro Ranch is Epstein's ranch. And, and it includes using Fort Huachuca and Fort Bliss, of course, and into Mexico, and then over into Cuba, then into Haiti, then into Dominican Republic, then into Puerto Rico, and a lot of Puerto Ricans in this case, and then to Little St. James Island. That was Jeffrey Epstein's little island. But then it goes, of course, it encompasses Venezuela, and then, of course, Brazil, where there is the John of God, um, baby farms that for trafficking. And so this trafficking is fentanyl, this trafficking is babies, this trafficking is humans, this trafficking is weapons, is ammunition, it's trafficking. Um, um, Anything that's not bolted down, fuel, absolutely fuel. A lot of this is the Venezuelan, and so I'm just, you know, putting out just a little bit of the timeline. We have a huge timeline, y'all, that has all of these arrests and raids and events and all of that that put all this together, that clarify all of this. And just really quickly, not to be overwhelming, but uh, this is the dismantling of this satanic. It is so satanic, y'all. Of course, because it's organ harvesting, it's all about the babies. This satanic pipeline that is crumbling. It is absolutely crumbling, and it's taken a long time to do it. If Biden wouldn't have gotten in a bit, it would have probably already been crumbled. But during the first administration of President Trump, he absolutely was hammering to destroy this pipeline, and and now and now he is absolutely hammering it some more, and it is crumbling. It is really crumbling. So it's not destroyed yet. Let's hope Cuba falls, but the DOJ did release millions of the Jeffrey Epstein documents. So President Trump, when he said Jeffrey Epstein, okay, are we still talking about him? I told you that that's all that's on his mind. That's all that's on his mind is um, to dismantle, to uh, destroy this satanic pipeline that Jeffrey Epstein is part of. He is not the pipeline; he is part of it because this is a international pipeline, and of course, our son was the witness for President Trump, right? Our son was the whistleblower, the Fort Bliss whistleblower, and when they tried to throw a wrench in it, right? Orchestrating the Walmart mass shooting and weaponizing a narrative, fabricating a narrative, a false narrative to attack President Trump with this alone shooter, with this, he doesn't know anybody in El Paso, which is baloney. He's, my yellow family, and this white supremacy thing, was all fabricated, was all lies, and these uh, mutineers, these infiltrators in the FBI, um, allowed all of this to happen. It's just beyond comprehension sometimes that people can be this evil. Okay, this evil. So the release of those files, millions of files, and of course, things are coming up with Bill Gates and um, well, so many other people, right? It really is to show you that that is just part of it. That Oprah with John of God is a part of it, connected to Beto with La Diabla, with Rosa Maria Arellano, with Rosa Maria Purchase Arellano Quran and Rafael Arellano Quran, house right beside Beto O'Rourke. Um, this connection to the Mormon faction, El Paso cartel, that made an alliance with the Juarez cartel. And that is just uh, giving access to these cartel members that are doing this trafficking in this pipeline, access to the United States, access to our databases, access to our intelligence databases, um, access to visas, right? Access to visas. They didn't have to put in a FOIA. They had access, and they had access to living in the United States and to business, doing business and everything. And so that all is being addressed, all being investigated right now. And it's really a beautiful thing to see. And this, of course, the DA's office, the fraud there, um, that office is under investigation. The Peter Melendez's death is a big deal, is a very, very, very big deal. And so that's going to blow things up in the DA's office. I shouldn't have said it that way. What I mean is there'll be transparency, right? There'll be transparency in what's in the DA's office when they investigate Peter Melendez's death, um, and everything surrounding that because of what was happening in the DA's office. And they were really up to no good, y'all. It's pretty gross. It's pretty gross. Um, so let's talk about these two FBI, Mormon faction FBI agents that were put in charge of the Walmart mass shooting case, Todd Petkus and David Frost. And I can tell you a lot about them. I can tell you that they are absolutely dirty, dirty FBI agents. They're up to no good in many, many, many ways. And we have just put a post up there, and I'm reading it. That's why I'm looking down. Um, uh, where they absolutely, and I can do it by memory too. They allowed the crime scene to be tampered with. They didn't secure the crime scene for over 48 hours. Unheard of. There were people walking that crime scene before it was secured, tampering with it. We know that with the pictures that we have, that it was tampered, and I would even say open quote, staged, close quote. Um, uh, but you know, um, they're also have conflicts of interest, um, protective order, um, domestic violence, and that's the cause for the protective order. They have allowed confirmed tampered evidence to be filed into the case. They have um, allowed the Walmart Victims Fund for people that are not qualified to take from that hundreds of thousands of dollars and not say anything. They absolutely allowed it all to be weaponized against President Trump to um, tamper with the election. And I think that that is really, um, really important for people to understand, that not only that, but they were working with Michael G. Mayella. They were working in the office with Michael G. Mayella, the shooter's brother, the shooter's brother in law, right? Um, you can't make this stuff up. So something is really stinky. It's kind of like the whole Erica Kirk, Charlie Kirk case, right? Something is very stinky. It's stinky. And it's all being explained day after day to us. Um, but Patrick Crucius, who was a defendant, um, his case was being reviewed in the federal courthouse. Michael F. Mayella, okay, so they're not juniors, but Michael F. Mayella, the father, was the manager of that courthouse. Of course, Brian Blake Crucius, he is a oh, what do you call it? When you do the books, he's all about doing the books and finances and everything. Um, so really, this is absolutely huge, and I'll talk more about it tomorrow. Hopefully, hopefully I can come on a little bit earlier, be really effective. Um, but that's like, I hope everyone understands what I just revealed. What I just revealed at almost 2 o'clock in the morning. The agents that were on the Walmart mass shooting, and that they're dirty, and their names, and that they have conflicts of interest and problems that that shouldn't have been, and that they belong to the Mormon faction. They belong to the Mormon faction El Paso cartel. Now that's jaw dropping. Okay. And so that's huge news. So we're very grateful for all of the news to be coming out now. And oh, justice is on the horizon. Yeah, justice is on the horizon. So, well, everyone, I just want to thank you so much for sharing, for getting the notifications, like touching the little bell or whatever, however you need to get notifications for this live stream, for coming up, for putting up with, oh, the time, the time. We're at over 2,000 days, and you've put up with that and stuck with us, and we're so, so grateful. So please share all the information. There is so much going on. It is just a very good thing, a very good thing. Um, and we're giving it to you as quick as we can. Go through it and um, scrutinize it. And so if you're writing and giving us information, don't be disappointed if we're not getting back to you. Uh, you know, we will, and hopefully we will, because things are just really moving that fast. And we are very, very appreciative because we're getting closer to getting Richard's remains. It is a vicious negotiation. And so we're keeping an eye on the president every day, every day. Because really, at the end of the day, it's in his hands. So thank you so much. Well, it's in God's hands, right? I should correct myself. It's in God's hands. But the president has invested interest in this. He has skin in the game in this because it was election tampering. It was cheating him. I don't think President Trump likes to be cheated. And that's what they did. And they cheated him by also taking the life of our son, because our son was his witness, his whistleblower. So thank you so much. God bless you. And I will be back tomorrow, hopefully